it's me, Hoshinonya. Good morning. Hello. Welcome. We'll be reading chapter 6 of Higurashi Onikakushi. Google told me this was the last chapter. A friend told me it was not. So we'll see if this is actually the final. If it's not, I will change the title after stream. So that way, at least when it uploads itself as a VOD, it'll have not the final chapter on it. Oh yeah, what happened last time? We played a game. We learned about Watanagashi. And our clue that we got was that Mion's family kind of helps run shit around the village. And the same guy who is in charge of the dam against the dam project is also the guy who runs the village. So he may or may not have been one of the people behind that murder of the guy, the worker on the dam. That's the best recap I've ever gave in this reading, anyway. Okay. Let's get this started. Oh. Wait. I accidentally started a new game. Hold up. There we go. That's okay. Continue. There. Load. End of chapter. Alright. Sound looking okay? Oh, it's a little loud. Alright, let me turn that down. There we go. That should be okay. Hopefully. Continue. A few days had passed since the incident. During that time, either Mion was busy or Rika-chan had to help with the festival preparations, so we can't get everybody together for club activities. Even though I thought I would never want to participate again after the years it shaved off my life each time, not having it only made my heart grow fonder. I really am not honest with myself. Today we finally had our club activities again. These weren't the same old club activities. It was called the Watanagashi 5 Demon Firefight, and it was one of the biggest events in the club. Peichi! Does this yukata still fit you? Can you try it on for a sec? Mom pulled out an old, dusty yukata. Nah, I don't need a yukata. Those are embarrassing. I'll just go in my normal clothes. But this is a festival. Wear it, okay? Ren and the others said regular clothes are just fine. If I was the only one wearing yukata, it'd be even more embarrassing. I put on the same old vest as usual. I'll be going with Reina and the others, so don't need to worry about me. Is that so? I'll be going with Dad when he wakes up. Dad let out a loud snore from the sofa. From how it looks, he must have pulled an all-nighter last night. He just finished sending out his manuscript, so might not wake up for a while. It seems my dad writes for art magazines sometimes too. I've never read it though. I wonder if my dad is a really famous artist. Since his own son is saying something like that, I can't imagine he's selling all that well. But he's able to feed a family of 3, and my life isn't exactly full of hardships. It could be that he's some master painter and I just don't know about it. Keiichi-kun, are you home? Uh-oh, it's already time. I didn't want them coming here, so I was planning on leaving early and waiting outside. Oh my, it's Reina-chan. Thank you for always looking after Keiichi. Ma'am, he's also been looking out for... Why are you blushing meeting my mom? Don't get all flustered. Hello. It doesn't feel right. Let's go, Reina. Since Reina would continue to space out if I left her here, I grabbed her hand and dragged her out. Reina-chan, look after Keiichi for me. Oh, yes, ma'am. even if it means I must sacrifice myself. Then why don't you do it right now? She waved back, even as I was dragging her away. Okay, Kei-chan. You hungry today? We'll take care of that at the stalls. You thought I'd let myself get full knowing the club activities would involve the stalls? Wouldn't have it any other way. Why are Rika-chan and Satoko? Are they already at the temple? Yep. Rika-chan's a festival committee member after all. Satoko-chan is probably with her as well. I see. Alright. Let's make some noise today. Yeah! We were already in high spirits with just the three of us here. It was more lively at the Furude Shrine than the last time I came, far exceeding my expectations. Throngs of people crammed between rows of market stalls lined with colorful paper lanterns. Despite that, it was actually quite enjoyable. There sure are a lot of people here. So what's the story so far? So far, our name is Keiichi. We play as Keiichi. We had just moved to this super small town out in the mountains. Our dad's an artist, so he was using this as like some inspiration, you know, out in the nature. So far, the first 5 chapters has just been us kind of hanging out with our classmates that we met here. It's kind of a one-room school because there's not a lot of kids in this super small town. Very old school town. We have been slowly learning that there's murders being covered up. And so, what was it? Our first thing was that they were going to build a dam which would flood this town. But I guess they have put up they protested against it. And in that protest, one of the dam workers got brutally murdered and they never found all the body parts. And when we ask our friends about it, they just kind of go, "What murder? What are you talking about? There was never a murder." But we found newspaper articles about it, and there's one other person from out of town who's a photographer who's also here to photograph this festival and some birds for this time of year. He was like, "No, there was definitely a murder here. They're lying to you." And so it's just kind of been like, oh shit. So we're trying to figure out what's happened, kind of, but obviously not get our friends involved because they seem to either not want to talk about it or they don't know about it. So it's like some slightly dark undertones as to what's happening, but mostly it's been shenanigans. We're in the game club, which was with these guys, and we just kind of go against each other in games like Old Maid, stuff like that. Loser gets a penalty, you know, classic shenanigans. And this is supposed to be a really big club activity, is going to this Watanagashi festival and playing games here. I guess there's going to be a really big punishment at the end, but they haven't told us. This is our first year doing the Watanagashi festival with them, so we'll see. Okay. I can't believe that they all live here in Hinamizawa. Everybody attends the Watanagashi. I think about half the village is here. It's not just that. Municipal and youth councils from neighboring towns and villages advertise this event as well. That's right. There aren't that many students at our school. But there's a lot of kids here today. It just doesn't feel like a festival unless there are kids running around after all. That's true. I agree. Ah, hello. Good evening. Those two knew everyone who came across. Of course I greeted them as well, but I wasn't familiar with everybody yet. Oh, Reina-chan. Thanks for the food you brought me a while back. My son loved it. He said it was delicious. It was nothing at all. I'm glad he liked it. Say hello to Kazuma-kun for me, please. Hey, if it isn't Sonozaki Ojo-chan. I'm in charge of the stand again this year, so make sure you come and visit. Pops, have you gotten fatter? You'll end up having a heart attack with a gut like that. Oh, kid here is new. Are you one of her underclassmen? He's one of my members, and upcoming and hopeful. If you cross him, he could crush you and stand in one night. You got little Mrs. Seal of approval, I see. Hope you take it easy on me. As you could imagine, Mion was chatting away with the old guys running the stalls. Mi-chan is really energetic after all. She's really popular with the older men. Oh boy. Oh boy, let me get a sip. My throat. I think Reina is pretty popular too. Being cute and all. That was, of course, so long after her little condition didn't flare up. But as long as she isn't blushing quietly, she's pretty cute. Reina's little condition is that sometimes she's a little too obsessive. She will, if she thinks something is cute, she will steal it, kidnap people. There was a chapter where we did go to the junkyard with her and just help her dig up an old Kentucky Fried Chicken mascot statue because it was cute. I'm not sure what she constitutes as cute, but if she says it's cute, we just roll with it. I'm popular with some people? Really? Really? With some people. I evaded giving her a straight answer by roughly tousling her hair. The stallkeepers came from all the way from town. Not really a festival without them after all. So we're gonna go mess with them now? I don't care what kind of match it is, I'm gonna win it. Oh yes, I'll try to. Hey! You're all very late. It's unacceptable to keep a lady waiting, Keiichi-san. Oh, my bad. So where is this lady I've kept waiting? What did you just say? Alright, Satoko was in top form as well. Seems she was all excited about being able to get everybody in the club together for the first time in a while. Rika-chan, cute! Reina let out an elated sigh. It seemed that the real lady had made her appearance. Oh, Rika and her little kimono. Oh my god. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to Keiichi as well. Whoa, looking good. You're looking sharp again this year. Cute. Gonna take you home. Rika-chan was wearing a shrine maiden outfit. Yep, Reina's little outburst was completely understandable. Rika-chan's clothes sure look like the real deal. Is that a real shrine maiden outfit? My grandmother made that by hand. They're quite authentic. Rika-chan has an important task to do at the end of the festival, so she's wearing this. I see. Rika-chan was on the executive committee because she performed all the shrine maiden rituals for the festival. My work is only during the finale of the festival, so I can still play for a while. But we cannot afford to waste any time. Let us begin. Hoorah! It felt good to wander around the festival with just the 5 of us. Mion called everyone over to the stand that caught her attention and proposed a rather odd competition. Takoyaki eating race. Everyone has to buy their own. Ready? Go. As standard in vendor stalls, a takoyaki stand. What was especially standard for these kinds of events was the fact that they were only simple balls of dough, takoyaki in the name only. It burns. Huh? Are you okay, Keiichi-kun? Have some water. My. Eating these scalding takoyaki whole is suicide. I guess the trick is to buy ready-made ones that have left here for a while. They really don't taste good. The stall next was that shaved ice stand. It still is a bit too early in the season for that, but right then it didn't matter. Let's do shaved ice this time. It's a shaved ice eating race. Ready? Go. Shaved ice eating race? I can't. Huh? As long as you can melt it a bit in your body heat, then it's so cold. Ha, not smart. This old man ordered it with plenty of syrup. It'll melt quickly when it's mixed up. Those stooges were too late. The moment they chose to tackle it head-on was their downfall. Phew! Finished! K-chan is done? That was too fast.
It couldn't be. Keiichi-kun, you didn't add water from the goldfish tank behind you, did you?
That can't taste very good. Next to that was another old favorite, a cotton candy stand.
Why don't we do this one next? Of course, it's a speed eating contest.
Hey, how do you eat cotton candy quickly? How? On Satoko's mark, Mion, Satoko, and I all compressed the cotton candy with our bare hands. The time it took to stick the whole thing in your mouths, 3 seconds. I expected Satoko to figure it out, but I didn't think Kei-chan would too. I can't have you treating me like I'm a newbie forever, can I?
It won't taste very good.
Rika-chan had also crushed it between her hands and stuck it into her mouth.
This is probably the only place in Japan where people eat cotton candy like this.
I think only Reina's cotton candy was happy with how it was eaten. But it felt like we'd end up doing stuff like eat noodles through the nose contest or human water pump at the goldfish scoop at this rate things were going. This old man will probably still win, too.
I am simply no match for Beyonce when it comes to eating repulsive things.
Yeah, seriously. What's up with you guys? Are you telling me that you don't want to have a blue Hawaii-topped yakubashi eating contest? Shake, shake, both Satoko and I shook our heads in unison.
Can we have a game that doesn't involve eating food this time? Can we?
Reina's proposal was a godsend. It was about time we played a different kind of game. It also seemed like neither Reina nor Rika-chan were any good at speed eating or gorging themselves. Okay, Reina. I'll let you pick the next game. Anything is fine.
Well then. I'm gonna be the judge. Find cute things on the festival grounds. You have 1 minute. Fine by me. I know exactly what Reina likes.
Alright. I think I can win that.
Ready, go!
Oh? Why aren't Keiichi-kun and Rika-chan starting? Why not? Mion and Satoko dashed off madly, but Rika-chan and I calmly stayed right where we were.
Could it be you've already found it? The cute thing?
We've already found it.
Keiichi too?
Yeah.
What is it? What is it? Oh, I can't wait.
Both Rika-chan and I stood motionless for those few moments before Mion and Satoko returned. This is probably the first time we've gone head-to-head like this.
It will be a first.
Rika-chan, you expect to win with that, huh?
I am a member of the club as well.
Win by any means is our society's third rule. Rika-chan sneered to the best of her ability. You're on. Both Mion and Satoko came back, each with their own plan of attack stuffed in their arms.
Okay then, let's go in order. With the club president, Mi-chan.
Too bad, guys. I'm ending this now. This old man brought this. Where did she get those? They were old tin diamond-shaped signs. Club curry, snake coil incense, and oranamin sea. How about this? Very understandable. A little too understated, Mion. I used to see these stuck up at the barbed wire fences. They were the most nostalgic, then cute? Can you explain what part of this is cute? But those are puffs of smoke, noisily shooting out of Reina's ears and nose, almost like a steam train. I don't get it.
I shall be up next. It is this. It was a hand-drawn poster from the Ladies' Society roasted corn stall. It was a really bad sketch done by a housewife. And an anthropomorphic roasted corn drawn without any sort of real plan. Its very existence invited the sense of sorrow to the viewer.
That was the sound of blood jetting out of Rina's nose. It seemed that it may have been rated higher than Mion's. I really don't get it. It feels like your artistic sense is a little avant-garde by about 5 eons.
Oh, those were nothing but mass-produced signs after all. They had no chance against something hand-drawn.
I couldn't even begin to follow the way those guys were thinking.
Then I will be next.
Next is Rika-chan, is it? What can you even do without anything? Do you and Satoko both forget? If Rika-chan felt like that, she could simply... After moving back about 10 yards, she began waddling up to Reina. Seeing that, both Mion and Satoko gasped. Oh no! Too late. Rika-chan tripped over nothing and lay motionless after falling down. Reina hurried over to her. Rika-chan, are you alright? Alright? Rika-chan had a lump on her forehead and tears welled in her eyes. Only her fingers peeked out from her sleeves. This was a vital part. The palms of her hands were covered by her sleeves. She just made a single sound.
Meow. Ow! Cute!
Going to take you home. I'd completely forgotten that. The play that I was personally had to use. Reina's face went completely red, her head bobbing back and forth with excitement. She embraced Rika-chan and began rubbing her cheek against her. I'd expect no less from her. Not a single element was overlooked. Lolly, shrine mating, brink of crying, Mew, it was perfect. A simple trip transcended into pure moe. Now this is what you would call art. Kei-chan has a pretty weird definition of art. I'll just pretend the sharp sting of those words cutting through me like a razor was a fragment of my imagination. Rika-chan turned her gaze to me with a daunting smile as she caressed my Reina, who was in full cute mode.
Now, Keiichi, can you beat me?
That cold smile is frightening, Rika-chan. It must just be my imagination, but I see a demon inside her sometimes.
Kei-chan seems to have his own plan of attack. I wonder what he's gonna show. I also wish to observe the play Keiichi-san will make.
Could it be? Is Keiichi also going to give a performance? I've asked in their pointed stares. I pulled Rina, who gave no sign of canceling out of cute mode, away from Rika-chan.
Oh, cute thing. Keiichi-kun, let's go.
I'll show you something even cuter, so just hold on for now.
Huh?
Oh?
Something even cuter?
But it's a bit too crowded here. Let's go back there. Reina looked very surprised as I pulled her behind the shrine. I cannot fathom what Keiichi-san could possibly be planning. This is Kei-chan after all. No, it couldn't be.
Keep on fighting. Yeah.
After a bit, I returned. And a bit after that, so did Reina, dragging her feet. There's no way that scoundrel Kei-chan did something to the innocent little Reina. Mion and Satoko passed by me, heading straight to Reina.
What exactly did he do to you?
For a moment, Reina was too dazed to realize someone was talking to her.
Oh, it's me-chan. Oh.
Reina, are you alright? Did Kei-chan do anything to you?
No, he didn't do anything strange to me. How? This is quite severe. Exactly what did Keiichi-san show you? Oh, it was so cute. Oh.
Cute? What did he show you, Reina? Reina let out a really long howl. Her eyes sparkled as she spoke.
Cute, so cute. It was Keiichi's furry little seal.
Womp womp. In the blink of an eye, Mion and Satoko's eyebrows smashed into my face. Huh? Huh? What? Showing Reina something so dirty?
You sick pervert! I shall have you beaten into oblivion!
Whoa, wait, you got it all wrong. A dark billowing aura followed from Mion and Satoko. This is no good, that they're gonna kill me.
Michan? I'm not sure what's going on, but you've got it all wrong. You see, Keiichi-kun had...
It's a first seal keychain. Rika-chan stuck her hand into my pocket and pulled out my keychain. Huh? He said he made it a long time ago for one of his summer school assignments. He said he doesn't show it to others because it's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, so small and cute. He tried his best to make it, and it's so wonderful.
Oh. This old man thought you meant it was Keiichi's cute little fur seal.
Oh, I'd expect no less from Mion-san. You're misconstrued things in the wildest ways.
They slung their insults at each other and looked like they were ready to tear into each other at any second. I beg of you. If I'm in the clear, would you mind getting off of me? We were interrupted by the flash of a camera. Hey guys. You all seem energetic as usual. It was Toмотaki-san. As I lay crumpled on the floor, Mion and Satoko continued to bicker above me. Rika-chan was patting me in the head and Reina was still in cute mode. It was probably quite the lively scene.
It's a fine evening indeed, although it's rather poor etiquette to photograph a lady without her permission.
That's right. At least you don't really need Satoko's permission. Hut! Satoko dug her heel into me.
Good evening. You're heading back tomorrow, aren't you? Were you able to take lots of good photos?
Thanks to you, I got plenty of good shots. Tonight's the last we can see old Toмотaki-sama, is it? It's such a shame. Hurry up and have your major breakout soon. Just as rude as ever, aren't you? I really am sad I won't be able to hear that voice of yours for almost half a year. Be sure to have as much fun as you can tonight. You'll be back in Tokyo tomorrow, after all. That's true. It will be another 6 months until I can enjoy another night where I can see the stars. Toмотaki-san looked up at the night sky cheerfully. At that moment, even though he was smiling, I sensed a bit of sadness. Why don't you move here, Toмотaki-san, in Hinamizawa? Toмотaki-san was speechless. It's not very convenient here. No shops, or recreational spots. There might not even be anything you really hear, but you know, everyone knew he was trying to say it. Toмотaki-san was also well aware. So Reina, Mion, Satoko, and Rika-chan, none of them butted in. I've only been here for less than a month, so I don't really know everything about it. Normally I'm a really talkative guy, but in situations like this I'm at a loss for words. Even though all that was happening in such a boisterous setting, it felt like all the background noise was fading into the darkness. This place is probably... Toмотaki-san rested his hand on me gently, silencing me. Thank you. Keiichi-kun. Mion-chan and Reina-chan, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan. Toмотaki-san's smile was so slight it looked as if it was going to crumble at any minute, but it was warm. I also think it would be great if I could live here. Those might have been cruel words coming from a kid who didn't need to worry about working to feed himself. A hand touched my back. It was Reina.
Keiichi-kun, you shouldn't pick on adults. It's not nice.
The background clamor of the festival returned. We won't be seeing him for a while after all. We need to make sure Toмотaki-san also enjoys tonight. When Reina smiled, the mood instantly got brighter. That's true. I think I'll do just that.
Ha! Michan, how about it? Can we let Tomotaki-san in our club activities?
That's a great idea, or so I thought. But Mion had a snobbish look on her face.
One of the requirements for membership is a resident in Hinamizawa, you see. Oh, come on, Michan, just for today. Don't be mean.
Well, he does come around often every year. I'll make him an honorary citizen.
Yay! Now then, I wonder if this aged fellow will past his prime will be a match for me. Let's have him show us the wisdom of the mature adults.
Can you keep up with us youngins? Tomotaki-san stepped back slightly at our audacious grins.
I, Mion Sonozaki, club president, do hereby authorize honorary citizen Tomotake's entry into our club.
Her words were quickly drowned out by the cheers. What do you mean by club?
What our club does, you see, in order to cope with our complicated society, we perform various activities with various rules. Sometimes they are in your favor, and sometimes they work against you. I'm pretty weak, so I prefer you not single me out. Let's try and get along. If you wish to mock our childish games, then this will be a perfect opportunity. We'll leave you with nothing. We won't even leave your hairs on your butt. So it's a club where we play games together. Of course, Riga-chan's the only one to give him an answer that made sense.
Alright, just what I wanted. I'll take you up on the challenge. Don't be too rough on me, my mentors. Tomotaki-san got riled up and did a victory pose like he was 10 years younger. That's perfect. We continued walking around the festival, Mion in front. Now we looked like a family of 6. It had some intensity to it. Same rules as always. Loser will, of course, be subjected to penalty. Tomotaki-san was a bit surprised, but to us it was just the same as always. Regardless of how terrible the penalty was.
Just don't lose.
Reina was also brimming with determination. She didn't have any intention of losing. That's true. I tousled Reina's hair to lighten the mood. She giggled to hide her embarrassment. I see. So this is what it means to feel like a kid again. Tomotaki-san whispered that to nobody in particular. At that moment, we heard an old man call out in a strong voice. Looking over, I realized that it was the man Mion had greeted right before we got to the festival. You're here, little Miss Sonozaki. Seems you brought quite the crowd. We came to eradicate your entire stall. His stall was a shooting gallery. It was the usual setup where you had to knock down a prize you wanted with the cork gun. The rules are simple. 3 shots, the winner whoever gets the biggest prize. Everybody shouted in agreement. There was no need to consider how to win, since the conditions for victory were simple. The biggest prize at the stall. It went without question. It was that one, wasn't it?
Whoa, that teddy bear is so cute.
Reina was gazing longingly at the large stuffed animal. It was intentionally placed on an unsteady platform, so it was possible to get even if you hit it in the right spot. It's magnificently set up to make someone think that.
Not bad, Keiichi-san. I figured you'd see that through the scam instantly.
The most logical course of action would be to aim for some candy or a doll. The intent analysis had already begun. In this club, you'll get eaten alive if you don't come prepared. Everything hinges on what plan you come up with before the main event. At some point, a large crowd had gathered around us, making a big fuss. There was this much following in our club's infamous event.
Knocking that bear down ensures a win.
Only 3 shots. To use them all just trying? That'd be rough. Hey, I have other customers waiting, you know. Who's up first? The first one has the advantage of being able to aim for the easier prizes, but it's dangerous to compete without knowing the gun's quirks. Tomotaki-san's take on the situation was pretty good. He gets what our club is about.
Well then, to be fair, how about using rock, paper, scissors to decide? How about it?
That's really the only way. Rock, paper, scissors. After a couple of matches, it ended up with Mion being first. I didn't want to end up first. Oh well. I'll just think of it as a handicap, Gramps. Gun. Here you go. When the shooting range guy handed her a rifle, Mion looked over it intently. She didn't forget how to check the cork bullet either. Okay. This gun is brand new, isn't it? No faults? Not bad. Mion raised the gun with one swift motion. It was completely different from her careful inspection. She was shooting it from the hip. Fire! Reload! Fire! Reload! Fire! Oh. Flop. Flop, flop. 3 candy boxes fell, one after the other. A big haul. The crowd paused for a moment in awe and then erupted in cheers. Whoa! Awesome!
That was quite good!
Tomotaki-san was at a loss for words after seeing such shooting prowess.
Amazing, Mi-chan! 3!
Her accuracy was incredible. Her choice of targets wasn't bad either. The 3 Mion had gone after were fairly large and pretty easy to knock over. They were all targets with a very high return of investment. Who's next? Satoko? Careful, the bullets are light. Next was Satoko. The rifle looked a bit big for her little body, but it didn't seem like she had any problem with the weight.
Of course, I shall aim for the grand prize.
She proclaimed that she was going after the teddy bear. Damn, Satoko, a bold move. The moment she knocks it over, she's guaranteed to be in first. Good luck, Satoko-chan. Satoko was the opposite of Mion. She aimed at the target quite carefully and squeezed the trigger.
Bah! These bullets are too light.
The first 2 bullets struck the bear in the torso, but it only shifted a little bit. You need to aim higher towards the head or it won't work. Satoko's 3rd bullet wasn't aimed at the bear, but at a candy box below its arm.
I hate to say it, but it appears the bear is just too much for me.
She went boldly after the big catch, but since she switched over to a less impressive prey at the last second, the crowd only gave a strained laugh. Were they laughing because she lacked the courage? These fools know nothing. A fine attempt, Satoko. You've gotten better. The palm of Mion's outstretched hand went poof as it tapped lightly down on Satoko. She appeared to just be talking hot air, but this was actually completely calculated. Damn that Satoko. Just to avoid being in last place, she dared switch over to an easy target. Without shame or honor. Magnificent.
I'll allow you to take the bear, Reina-san. I pray for your victory. Okay. Thanks so much, Satoko-chan. Oh, bear-san, so cute.
Reina was up next. She couldn't hit the broadside of the barn as a regular Reina, but she had the bear that was cute. I wonder how Reina-chan would do. I hope she's able to hit at least one. You're underestimating Reina, Tomotaki-san. It's Reina, you know? It's Reina Ryugu, you know? If it was gonna get that teddy bear... Whoa! Tomotaki-san wheeled around to see what was all the commotion the spectators were making about. If it was to get that bear, she'd be able to shoot through a pinhole. The one known as Reina Ryugu could do it.
Shaking! It's shaking! How cute!
Reina couldn't hide her excitement over the bear's slow rocking. Now Reina couldn't lose.
Not bad, Reina-san. The less collected you become,
the stronger you get.
Whoa.
Another big cheer. Reina's bullet hit the bear's forehead again. Not enough. The bear seemed to wobble more than before.
But it might not be possible.
You never know. With Reina-chan's skill, it might be. While Tomotaki-san was just as excited about the crowd, Rika-chan's analysis was not swayed by emotion. If Reina had 10 more shots, then she could surely knock it over. But with just one more, no matter how you looked at it, no go.
Ow!
The crowd let out a dejected groan. She had to have shot it right in the forehead 3 times. It was a bit late, but they gave her a good round of applause for the attempt.
Oh, Bear-san, take him home. Home.
She should be praised for her valor, but she had no trophies to show for it. Then at that moment, the old man flickered one of his candy boxes with his finger and handed it to Reina. This is for you, little lady.
Huh? You're giving this to me? Huh?
The gods won't forgive me if I let you go home empty-handed after such a display. There was another shower of applause. Reina turned bright red and pulled her back over by the hand. You did a good job. Your cute mode really surprised me.
Oh, I really wanted Mr. Bear.
It was easy to see that you only needed a little bit more to be knocked over. Reina had done quite a lot for me. I still needed to pay her back for that delicious picnic. Alright then, I'll get it and give it to you.
What?
Tomotaki-san had stolen the words right out of my mouth.
Okay. Please, Tomotaki-san. Good luck.
Damn you, old man Tomotake. Stealing the good parts for yourself? A small hand stretched over and fell gently on my head just before I was overcome with frustration.
You keep on fighting too, Keiichi, okay?
Tomotaki-san carefully studied the bear. Setting his sights, he shouldered the rifle while holding the other 2 shots in his hand. Why is he doing that? Yes, no doubt. Tomotaki-san is aiming for... What? The time between shots was short. It was meaningless to shoot again once it had stopped shaking, so Tomotaki-san was relying on rapid fire to win the battle. It was visibly wobbling much more than it ever had before, but that was all. It still didn't fall over.
Oh, too bad.
All of Reina's momentary expectation from watching it sway violently turned into a dejected sigh. I really thought it would work.
It seems that since you're a man, you will not be receiving any candy.
And that was it. It meant Tomotaki-san had no spoils of war. So both Kei-chan and Rika-chan can just shoot down a small easy prize and avoid being dead last. Avoid being the loser, huh? Oh, sorry about that. It's your turn next, Keiichi-kun. Best of luck. I was the 5th shooter. I took the rifle from Tomotaki-san. If I took the ruthless route as Mione had suggested, then I'll go for a small target. Except, when I picked up the rifle, I definitely got a feeling from it. It was burning passion. Passed down to me by Tomotaki-san. The regret of not being man enough to fell the bear that Reina wanted. Yeah, that's right. If it didn't aim for the bear, then I wouldn't be a man. After all, that was my promise. To Reina.
Huh? What?
Promise. What? To shoot down that bear. Then give it to Reina. That one.
You mean who?
The crowd went wild when they saw our conversation.
Whoa! Cool Oni-chan! You got balls, man!
That's not it. Fine men of the crowd. If I didn't do this, then Reina might mug the old man running the stall on his way home. That's not it. That's not it at all. Why can't I just express my honest feelings?
Keiichi-san surely talks the talk. But how do you actually intend to bring down that bear?
Reina and Tomotaki-san's shots did make it tilt a bit, but I think finishing the job will be difficult.
Keiichi-kun.
If only there was some way to shoot faster. I'd be able to pile on more with each sway and each hit.
Good luck, Keiichi-kun.
After taking 2 deep breaths, I shouted over to the guy. 2 more rifles. Huh? The crowd murmured amongst themselves.
I wonder what Keiichi-san is up to. One person can't handle 3 rifles at once.
Ah, I get it. Nice thinking, Kei-chan. Mion was able to figure out magnificently. Basically, what was taking the most time was reloading the shots.
But that's right. Then, by putting 3 preloaded rifles next to each other...
Tomotaku-san went silent, peering at me and the bear through his lens. His photographer's blood predicted a miracle that would occur. And then the crowd finally picked up on what I was planning. They let out a great cheer. They chanted my name, Keiichi. Rapid fire is the key. If I miss, all is for naught.
Phew.
After letting out a deep breath, I paused. Relax. Now. That moment, it felt like time itself had stopped. It felt like I could see the trajectory of the bullets. Hit. And knock it down. First shot hit the bear in the head. Second. The third. The bear swayed hard. And then...
Woohoo!
Yeah! Ooh! The cheers began before the stuffed animal even finished falling off the shelf. The guy caught it before it hit the ground and tossed it over to me. You actually knocked it over. You got me. Amazing. Congratulations, Keiichi-kun.
Keiichi-san has finally learned how to use his head. I see you in slightly better light now.
I didn't do it all by myself. Everyone hit it, and those small bits together brought it down. This trophy belongs to all of us. Right. This is from all of us working together. Michan didn't hit it a single time. After holding up the teddy bear like it was a championship trophy, I handed it to Reina. Here. This is from me? Nah, it's from everyone. Thanks for always making us delicious lunches. Reina, thinking she was never actually gonna get it, was momentarily speechless.
I can't, Keiichi-kun. This is everyone's, after all, how...
In that case, I was the one who knocked it down, and it's mine. It's mine, so I'm giving it to Reina. I pushed the stuffed animal towards her again. This time, she embraced and accepted it. You watched out for me ever since I moved here, after all. I'm really grateful, you see. Thanks a lot.
Oh, Keiichi-kun, thank you so much.
Reina dove at me. Mion told me a few days later that Reina kissed me, but I didn't realize it during all the excitement at the time. I remember that I was trying to say Tomotaku-san earlier. There really isn't much of anything here, but there are lots of things you can't find anywhere else. I gained a lot from coming to Hinamizawa, especially at that moment. The crowd's cheers echoed on and on. From the altar set up in front of the shrine, the drums sounded a booming echo. It was the finale of the festival. I'll be going off ahead then. Uh-oh. I need to go and get myself a good spot too. Well then everyone, see you in a bit. Both Rika-chan and Tomotaku-san gave their farewells and disappeared into the crowd. I wish both of you the best in your endeavors. Now, shall we be off? Yeah, might as well go see Rika-chan's charming figure. Let's go. Yeah, huh? Where's Reina? What are you doing?
Keiichi-kun, Mii-chan, save me!
Since she was carrying such a ridiculously large stuffed animal, she was being carried by the flow of people. What is she doing? She must have her hands full taking care of that bear. So I'll leave Reina-chan in your care, Kei-chan. I have my hands full taking care of Satoko.
Who would want to be looked after by you, Mion-san? Ow! Oh, please don't pull my arm!
Before losing sight of Mion, I grabbed the back of Reina's collar.
Keiichi-kun, not there, don't grab me there!
Always so bossy. Where can I grab you then?
How?
I didn't feel ashamed at all. Reina was ashamed enough for the both of us. I grabbed onto Reina's hand and dashed after Mion and the others. We're gonna be late. Let's hurry up.
Yeah.
I hadn't realized Reina's hand was so delicate. Maybe she needed a bit more exercise and nutrition? That wasn't what I meant, not at all. My ears burned. I tried to keep calm. I repeated the phrase, "Keep it together, Keiichi Maibara," in my mind, but it didn't look like I would be able to anytime soon. I really didn't want Reina to see my face right then, so I pushed onwards, dragging her along without looking back even once. There was already a huge group of people gathered at the altar in front of the shrine. The fire at the altar made it as bright as a midday and just as hot. There was a pile of futons worded in the sanctified rope in the front of the altar. Come to think of it, they did say it was a festival where they did something with the cotton futons.
Keiichi-san! Reina-san! We're over here!
Satoko waved her hand in front of the front row. Sorry. Making our way through the mass of people, we reached the spot they saved. How was it? Were you able to give a little bit of excitement with Reina?
You punk!
So that's what your plan was. Instead of replying, Mion gave us a perverse grin. How was it, Reina? Was Kei-chan's hand bigger than what you thought it would be?
How?
Reina turned bright red, puffs of steam shooting out of her. I heard something slice through the air, and I turned around to see Mion on the ground, with a welt on her face.
Mion, were you hit?
Between the ha and ow of her how, I think.
Reina, it's no good to punch your friends to hide your embarrassment. I didn't hit her. Well, whatever.
Thump. The thunderous beat of the drum echoed, silencing the crowd.
We must all be quiet. It's beginning.
It was a solemn ritual. Rika-chan entered dressed as a shrine maiden, followed by members of the municipal committee. The elders all looked at Rika-chan and clasped their hands in praise. The only thing allowed to disturb the profound silence was the flash from Tomotaki-san's camera. What's the big thing Rika-chan is holding?
Oh, it's used for the festival. It's a sacred farming tool that only the shrine maiden may touch.
It was an awkward shape for a piece of farm equipment, not uncommon for something used in rituals. After reciting a Shinoto prayer, Rika-chan approached the pile of futons gathered at the altar. She swung the hoe skillfully, plunging it into the futons. Each and every little movement of this performance probably had to be done a certain way. Without a doubt, this was a ritual. What's next? Airing out the futons?
She's purifying the futons that absorbed illness from people over the winter.
So when Kei-chan said airing out futons, he wasn't completely wrong. Rika-chan's face had already dripped with sweat. That hoe was probably really heavy. She staggered side to side with the momentum of each swing. Satoko looked on, silently lending her support. Worried?
Rika practiced every single day with a mochi hammer. She will certainly prevail.
Satoko's hands were sweaty, and whenever Rika-chan started to sway a little, she held her breath. Why wasn't Mion a candidate to be the shrine maiden? It feels wrong having Rika-chan swing something around that's so heavy. I'd do it if they'd asked me, but, and well, it's not something just anyone could do. That's true. Shrine maidens need to be pure after all. Mion drove her elbow into my side. With the thud of a big drum, Rika-chan gave a solemn bow and descended from the altar. That triggered a round of generous applause. After Shinoto priests had raised up the cleansed futons like a portable altar, all the spectators stood up. Following after the priestess, they all marched at the moderate pace. They descended the shrine's giant stairs in a line. What's happening now? Washing the futons in the river?
Watanagashi means setting cotton adrift, you know.
The procession continued right up to the bank of the stream. A fire was stoked high, and it was bright as day here, too. People started crowding around it and clamoring.
All right, get in line. Line up, Keiichi-kun.
I wondered what was up. Maybe we'd get some holy wine? Red and white bean buns?
It's not food. I said it was cotton. But of course, they didn't call it the Watanagashi for nothing. I finally understood.
The municipal committee members pulled up the cotton from inside the futons, balled it up like mochi, and were handing it out to people. Reina dove into the line and bowed out some me as well. We then proceeded to the bank of the stream.
Since it's your first time, Keiichi-kun, just copy what I do.
She held the cotton in her right hand, and waving her hand as if to purify it, she touched it with her forehead, chest, navel, and then both thighs.
You do this 3 times. Silently give thanks to the Oyashiro-sama.
Oyashiro-sama? What's that? The name of the shrine god?
Yeah, he's the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. It brings about both miracles and curses. So you must be sure to show respect.
That sounded like a pretty frightening god. But, well, when in Rome. I was officially a resident of Hinamizawa now, after all. Doing as Reina showed me, I touched the cotton over myself 3 times. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro-sama.
This way, all the evil that possesses you is sucked up by the cotton. Then you let it gently drift away in the stream, and then you're done.
Together, Reina and I set our pieces of cotton afloat on the surface of water. The flowers of cotton blooming in the water had sucked out all the evil festering in Hinamizawa and drifted off, disappearing into the distance. It was wonderful, like those floating lantern festivals you'd see on TV. The best part, though, was feeling like this rite of passage had made me a true resident of Hinamizawa. While staring off into the stream, I somehow got separated from Reina. I wasn't very lonely, though. I know this place now. This is where I live. My home. It's probably better if I just stay here instead of wandering around aimlessly. Someone would surely find me while I was enjoying the evening breeze. I heard a familiar voice. It was Tomotaki-san's. I headed towards it. How did it go, Tomotaki-san? Were you able to get some good shots? Yeah, fortunately. Tomotaki-san was with a girl. I felt a little like I was intruding. How was it, Keiichi-kun? Did you enjoy the festival? From the way she spoke, it seemed like she was a resident of Hinamizawa. I really should try harder to remember people's faces around here. What was her name? It was fun. My face must have given away that I was desperately trying to remember her name, because she gave me a lighthearted chuckle. It's probably because it hasn't been long since you moved here. It's pretty hard to believe seeing how friendly you've gotten with other kids. If that's how it looked, it probably was all thanks to Reina and Mion. Perhaps you feel more like a resident of Hinamizawa after taking part in the festival today. I wonder about that. Oh, that's not like you. I had tried to get used to Hinamizawa, but there was still plenty of things I didn't know. The faces of people I'd met, for example. Things that had happened in the past as well. Oh, you're feeling left out because of something like that? It's not so much a feeling of being left out, it's just... I'm not sure how to say it. That incident at the dam construction site. The fighting over it and the conflicts. The terrible incident they pretended they didn't know. And whenever I brought it up, even though it was in the past, as someone living in Hinamizawa, it wasn't wrong to want to know about the both good and bad that's happened here. If it will put you at ease, then I'll tell you everything I know. Tomotaki-san's smile made me even more relieved than I had ever been. It was hard to think of what to ask someone when they said, "Ask me anything," though. Even when there was so much I wanted to ask. Then could you tell me about what happened at the dam being constructed? There was a big incident where Hinamizawa was going to be submerged, right? I think the locals would be more knowledgeable about the dam than I am. Well, if you don't mind, I'll still tell you what I know. It's only what I read in the papers, though. Tomotaki-san's eyes entered an unfocused gaze as he searched through the memory, and then he spoke. Get another drink. Ugh. The decision to start the dam project was finalized 7 or 8 years ago. I heard it was the next major project after the Kurobi. There were 3 major issues in Japan at that time: improving inter-island transportation, infrastructure meeting the higher demand for electricity, and flood control. There was a boom of dam building due to the massive economic stimulus they provided on top of generating electricity for the flood control. Hinamizawa had the right conditions to support dam construction, so it was singled out. The dam reservoir would be covered quite a lot of ground then when it was completed. The entire area, right up to the Yaguichi way upstream, would be underwater. But why did they have to pick a populated area like Hinamizawa? Couldn't they have instead picked a place where nobody lived? I'm not really sure why, but I heard that it was just the right terrain for building a dam. Of course, there were protests here in Hinamizawa. Rika-chan had said that there was a battle, from what the choice of words I had to guess. Things had turned violent. There was a trial, and it was even brought up before the National Diet. It was covered in the Tokyo newspapers, too. Mion had told me about that as well. I'm sure every resident of Hinamizawa had united to fight together. The feeling of solidarity found here, which could not be expressed properly with mere words, was likely brought about by that battle. As a result, bribery and scandals were brought into the light. As things got more and more complicated, they eventually halted the construction. If I wanted to know, now was my only chance to ask. It was certainly a bizarre incident that boys my age would be curious about. I felt a little shame from the fact that I was petty enough to have my curiosity piqued by Reina and Mion's refusal to talk about the event. But I figured I might as well ask since I had the chance, just so I would stop thinking about it. So, there was a dismemberment, right? There was. It happened to be here in Hinamizawa at the time, so I remember it well. Tomotaki-san's answer was nonchalant in contrast to my hesitantly forced-out question. It was about that time, 4 years ago. It was the day of Watanagashi, if I recall correctly. Debate on whether to continue construction on the dam was disarray. Scandal after scandal rocked the project near the end. The incident was its final nail in the coffin for the dam project. A fight at the dam construction site ended in the victim being murdered. Fearing prosecution, the 6 assailants divided the remains into 6 pieces and each hit one. 5 of the 6 criminals turned themselves in out of guilt, but one was still on the run. The right arm he'd hidden had not yet been found. The major details lined up that he was in the tabloid I'd read earlier. It certainly was a tragic incident, but it wasn't so terrible that Reina and Mio needed to hide it from me. I guess they didn't want someone who'd just moved here to give a negative impression of Hinamizawa. I felt grateful for having friends who worried so much about me, as well as shame for still being interested in it. It was near the end of the trouble of the dam, you see, so everyone was saying that it was Oroshiro-sama's curse. Oyashiro-sama's curse, huh? Oyashiro-sama was the name of the god at the shrine that held the festival today, if I recalled right. I see. Their guardian deity rained divine punishment down on the evil dam construction for trying to flood Hinamizawa. Apparently, the younger ones didn't think so, but it seemed the elderly in the village never doubted that it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman with Tomotaki-san said with a mischievous chuckle. Tomotaki-san began laughing with her. It was so infectious I ended up laughing as well. But I wonder about now. There are quite a few, I think, amongst the youth. A few what? People who believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman's lips were still curled into a smile, but her expression turned stern. Then after that, it continued every year, always around this time. Continued? What continued? Tomotaki-san paused for a second, as if to build up some suspense. Then he whispered it to me, as if someone might be listening. Every year, on the day of Watanagashi, someone dies. The year following the dismemberment, on the day of Watanagashi, a man from Hinamizawa, who had supported the dam, fell off a cliff overlooking some rapids and died. He was on vacation. Unfortunately for his wife, the body was never recovered. He supported the dam construction even though he lived in Hinamizawa. At the time, there were whispers amongst the others saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman chuckled mischievously again. Then the next year, the night of Watanagashi, the shrine's Shinto priest died suddenly from an unknown illness. His wife drowned herself in the bog that night. The shrine's Shinto priest? You mean he was from the shrine here? The woman nodded. There was rumor amongst the villagers that they weren't able to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger. Then the year after that, and again on the night of Watanagashi, they discovered a battered body of a local housewife. Housewife? Up until now, all these mysterious deaths were people involved in a dam or had connections with Oyashiro-sama. With that in mind, could the housewife have been involved in some way too? Exactly. The woman stated slyly. No, it was more menacing. One of the victim's relatives, you see, was connected to the younger brother of the dam supporter who fell to his death 2 years before. The younger brother is still alive, it seems, but it did bother him quite a bit, so he moved to the neighboring town. For a while I stood there with my mouth agape. The battle over dam construction with Hinamizawa's future at stake, and the murder at the center of it all. That was all I knew, and that was all I wanted to ask about. That wasn't all there was to the story. Homicide, body disposal, accidental deaths, terminal illness, suicide, fatal breedings. I'm a pretty level-headed person. I don't really want to believe in curses, but the freakish deaths happening every year on the day of Watanagashi, and all of them being related to this dam construction? It was easy to dismiss each of them as coincidences by themselves. But when you put them all together, dismissing all of them as coincidence would defy logic. I don't believe in curses, but every single year, on the day of Watanagashi, somebody or something makes it happen, without fail. The woman chuckled again, as if she picked up on what I was thinking. It felt like she was saying, maybe there was, maybe we were frightening him, stuff like that. I felt embarrassed to be read so easily. Then, so someone died the next year, right? Who was it that time? I wonder, who do you think, Keiichi-kun? The hell? The way he said it didn't agree with me. The sarcastic tone ticked me off. Don't avoid the question, I'm serious. Hey, calm down, Keiichi-kun. I realized when she tried to calm me down that I had been panicking. We're not trying to avoid the question, Keiichi-kun. It's just, when you say the next year, it's today. When she hesitated to say it, Tomotaku-san finished it for her. I broke into a cold sweat. I really didn't like the direction this was heading. Nobody wants to speak of it, but they all think it's going to happen again, tonight. The festival was so cheerful, though. While the victim last year, the housewife, she was a non-believer. It turns out she didn't even attend the Watanagashi festival. There's a rumor going around that if you don't participate in the festival, you would incur Yashiro-sama's wrath. Didn't you hear anything about that, Keiichi-kun? I never even heard a whisper of the rumor. Then the reason everyone at the festival was... they were afraid of the curse? I figured that must have been the reason. There were a lot more people at the Watanagashi than usual. I guess everyone was just afraid, after all, of Higurashi-sama's curse. I couldn't utter a single word. In this modern age, where we've made progress in all scientific fields, shedding light on the unknown and the misunderstood, where black and white television had been eradicated and we've sent men to the moon, even with all our accomplishments, this can exist in modern society? Tons of innovations were spent out at the neighboring towns. Youth groups had held pad to the numbers. But after the string of events, few decided to join. The municipal committee members were complaining about how hard it was to gather participants. Also, the police were treating each case as isolated. They don't believe they're connected. They're trying to keep it quiet. And so all the plainclothes officers... It finally began to dawn on me why Reina and Mion were reluctant to talk. If nothing happened during the Watanagashi, everything would have been over and I'd be none the wiser. If nothing happened, all would be well. In that case, it would all end up just being crazy talk. I should have just pretended like I knew nothing from the beginning. Then they wouldn't have had to act like nothing happened. We had all gotten back to life as usual. Maybe it was just too much for him after all. The woman ran her fingers through her hair as she sighed. No, it wasn't. Not at all. I had tried to act strong, but just served to emphasize how much the information had unsettled me. After seeing how I looked, Tomotaki-san appeared to regret saying anything. Letting out a sigh, he then spoke, forcing an awkward, upbeat demeanor. Keiichi-kun, surely you don't believe in such thing as curses. Well, no. If the causes of all the crimes were unknown, with their perpetrators and their methods all mysteries, then I would think it's the work of a curse. But that's not how things are in reality. The police are investigating the evidence and suspects to uncover the truth. Hearing him say police made me feel a lot better. It was a perfect repelling word for curse. The first one, the dismemberment, for example, I told you, didn't I? All but one of the perpetrators were arrested? It's only a matter of time for that last one. The motive turned out to have been an argument they had while intoxicated. That's no curse. Don't you agree? That was true. If it didn't happen on the day of Watanagashi, then I wouldn't think it was related at all. The accidental death of the man who supported the dam is the same. He was in a position that made others hate him. The police made a point to investigate that from that angle. And that concluded it was an accident. No foul play. But they both happened on the day of the festival, right? Just think about it, Keiichi-kun. Do you think people with a lot of enemies here in Hinamizawa would participate easily in a local festival? It would be especially hard for them to be around during the Watanagashi, so they probably left Hinamizawa intentionally around this time of year to travel, don't you think? It wasn't a very clear explanation, but I sort of understood what Tomotaki-san was getting at. So I pressed on earnestly, asking more questions than I could conceive for myself. Then Tomotaki-san, what about the priest who had died after that? The one with the unknown illness. That was also happening on the day of the festival? It's even easier to explain what happened to the Shinto priest. The Watanagashi is a really big event that happens once a year. It was probably from all that built-up stress, or it may have been because of the pre-existing condition. But it was an unknown illness. It's hard to believe something like an unknown cause could exist in all of our advances of medicine. It's just an exaggeration. Rumors making rumors. Anyone could get worked up over having incidents happen 2 years in a row. The sudden death is quite unnatural, though. Of course, the police ordered an autopsy because of the strange way he died. But there wasn't enough for them to open a full investigation, you know? Turns out, it was just a sudden death due to illness. The priest's wife committed suicide, right? What about that? I believe I already explained that. Everyone was all shaken up at the incidents happening for a third year. Those who were strong in faith were quickly believed it was the work of a curse. Of course, that included the priest's wife. Apparently, they found the suicide note that said something like, "My death will quell Oyashiro-sama's anger." Well then, how about the next incident with the housewife? What happened on the day of the festival, too? The perpetrator had already been caught, and the case was closed. Turns out it was just some nutjob trying to continue the legacy of Hinamizawa's curse. Then, what about the incident the next year? Oh, this year. This is the next year. Tomotaki-san gave a haughty laugh. Nothing's gonna happen. Not this year. There was never a curse to begin with. It's just a group of people who believed in explanation for the string of coincidences. My internal computer finally got itself back on track. I felt a bit embarrassed at how childish I'd become after losing my control and panicking. I can see very clearly now that Keiichi-kun really loves Hinamizawa, even if Oyashiro-sama's curse actually did exist. Keiichi-kun couldn't bring himself to believe that such a thing existed. I felt very relieved. I should probably just forget everything I heard tonight. I'll greet Reina and Mion tomorrow with the same smile as always. They'd probably also like tonight to end without incident, so they can continue tomorrow without having worried me. Perhaps seeing my change in attitude, the woman who had been listening is stretched up as she got up from the rock she was sitting on. Well then, I should be getting back. Goodness, I think I may have gotten a bit too long. There were a few people compared to the crowd from before. I can only make out a few groups of families enjoying the cool evening air. I looked at my watch. It seemed we'd talked for a better part of an hour. Didn't you come along with your friends, Keiichi-kun? Are you not going to go look for them? Oh yeah. They may all be looking for me. Heh, you're quite the scoundrel making those girls make before you. See you, Keiichi-kun. You have a nice night. You too, Jiro-san. I'll see you in a bit. Tomotaki-san seemed to be quite the scoundrel himself, so his name is Jiro. After dusting off her backside, she disappeared into the crowd of people still busy cleaning up the shrine. Keiichi-kun! So sorry! In her place, Reina came running over. I could see all the others behind her. Speak of the devil. My bad, Kei-chan. We got caught up in our discussion. I completely forgotten about them while caught up in my own conversation, so we're even. My, so Tomotaki-san was with you. This works out perfectly. We still need to settle our shooting gallery competition. That's right. So I guess we're gonna end up dead last? In the end, after my dramatic victory, Rika-chan was the last challenger, but there weren't many targets left. The ones remaining were all tiny and difficult to hit. So, she did take her time and aim, but all 3 shots completely missed. She was to end up sharing the loser's crown with Tomotaki-san. However, she did her little mewing cry from the owner, and he turned to mush instantly. She was given a pack of gum as a consolation prize. Her methods were a bit audacious, but she did avoid being the loser rather magnificently. Come to think of it, Rika-chan is quite the trickster. I have no idea what Keiichi's talking about. Now then, it's decided that Tomotaki-san is dead last. Everyone cheered and applauded. Tomotaki-san smiled wearily, slightly bewildered. So, Tomotaki-san, are you ready? It's penalty time. Huh? Oh, I completely forgot about that. You're too naive, Tomotaki-san. This is why our club has never lost. Mion pulled a felt-tip marker from her pocket. Oh, it's that. Show him some mercy, Mion. At least use a washable marker. A permanent one is way too harsh. It's just as to be permanent. It comes off when you do the laundry anyway. Whoa, what's this? Please take it easy on me. All of us pinned down his arms behind his back, and Mion approached him with the marker in hand. And swip. But she didn't write on Tomotaki-san's face. She wrote on his shirt. You better have your big break this year, Mion. Reina took up the marker next. Show me your photos next time, okay? Reina. It was a little heartwarming, but I had to laugh. Haha, this is more of a farewell card than a penalty. I'm not as soft as the rest. I'll make sure this is a proper penalty. Haha, dead last, Satoko. Try harder next time, Rika. Here you go, Keiichi-san. I couldn't decide what to write, but based on what kind of penalty this was probably the most appropriate. Come back and play again. Keiichi. Tomotaki-san was silent the entire time. At first he was quite bewildered, but now he had a different look on his face. So I have to wear this all the way back to Tokyo as part of the penalty? Of course! You better wear it all the way home. You could wear it and then come back. It would be nice. He appeared deeply moved. Embarrassment mixed with a wealth of order emotions made him turn bright red. Understood. I'll wear this the next time I come. I promise. Everyone cheered and applauded. It was the finest parting gift possible for a buddy of heading out tonight. I saw the woman who was with Tomotaki-san standing near festival grounds. It seemed Tomotaki-san noticed her too, and knew it was time to leave. Seems like your guest is waiting. Isn't it about time? Hmm? Yeah, that's certainly how it seems. Tomotaki-san headed off towards her and seemed to apologize for making her wait. We all shouted stuff at Tomotaki-san. Each time we did, he looked back and waved his hand. Eventually he faded into the darkness of the night. Out of sight. It was quite the casual farewell. This wasn't the first time any of us had seen someone off. They had done the same thing many times before. He's gone. Well, it's about time we take off too. Rika-chan had to stay behind with the other committee members since they were having a meeting. Satoko was tagging along with her. I headed back home with the usual suspects. The walk back was quite lively, with talk of the day's war stories. Should have done this, should have done that kind of stuff. Reina and I parted ways with Myon, and then it was just the two of us. Then we got back to my house and parted ways with Reina as well. It's already pretty late. Are you all right by yourself? Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. It's close, so I'm gonna run. If you run into some weirdos, just yell. If someone does come, will you come and save me, maybe? Maybe? If I hear you. Oh, okay. I'll scream loud enough so you can hear me. Merrily spinning her arms around at high speed, Reina dashed off. She was fine. In that mode, not even an adult could stand against her. Reina's cheerful presence disappeared, and it finally became quiet again. That curse that not a single person even whispered about. The more I learned about it tonight, the more unsettling it became. It didn't show on any of their faces, but they were all probably quite concerned about it. But if nothing happens tonight, then it all ends up just being crazy talk. Nothing will happen. Nothing bad. Nothing at all. Yo, what's up, Muffin McFluffin? What's wrong, Keiichi? Why are you standing in a place like that? Come inside. You'll catch cold. It was my mom. Did you go, Mom? To the Watanagashi festival? In the end, your father didn't end up waking up, so I missed it. A little disappointing. Mom stuck her tongue out for a bit of an embarrassed look on her face. Wow, that's a lot of tips. Let's go through those. Oh my god. Hojo couples falling incident. Hojo, that's Satoko's family. Okay. Let's see what this is. From the June 1980 edition. On the afternoon of Redacted, at 2 p.m., office employee Redacted and his wife Redacted of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibone Prefecture disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observatory platform in Shirakawa Prefecture. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of Redacted at around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife, Redacted, has yet to be found. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appeared a railing at the observatory that the X's had learned about had broken, causing them to fall. The groundskeeping staff was questioned by the police in regards to the facility deterioration, and if park maintenance was performed properly. Okay. Terminal illness and the death of Shinto priest. Okay, so these must be all the murders we just heard about. Murders. Quote, air quotes on murders. A. From the June of 1981 edition. Okay, so this is the next year. On the afternoon of Redacted, around 10 p.m., in the Redacted districts of Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone Prefecture, the Shinto priest of Furude Shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. Parties close to the deceased said he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival, which was held on that day. Also, after Redacted's death, his wife, Redacted, went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and local youth associations continued to search. However, given the presence of the farewell message and the fact that Onikakushi Marsh is said to be a bottomless, they have yet to run into difficulties. Okay. Housewife murder. It wasn't reported in the paper. Okay. That one felt the most ominous, actually. This is Okinomiya Station. Calling Unit 3. Unit 3, please respond. This is Unit 3. Loud and clear. Backup is heading your way. Hold position until further instruction. Over. Roger. Unit 3 acknowledged. Requesting no headlights. Requesting radio silence. Station, the doctor has arrived. They want to carry it away. What's the order? Over. Acknowledged. Leave it to the doctor. Affirmative. Understood. Backup has arrived. Shouldn't we let them take a photo first? I think the Vic is done for. What? Radio log. I'm not sure what that one means. These three were the three incidences that's happened the years before this one. I like the music on this menu. Ugh. Let's see. Let's save. Okay, I guess there's more than 6 chapters. Google straight up lied to me. That's okay. I'll change the title on the stream here after we finish up. Yeah. Okay. Let's... These three are so ominous. But yeah, chapter 6, done. Let's go. The Watanagashi Festival. That was some major plot advancement, it felt like. This must be the climax. Like, we must be at least over the halfway point for this book. Ugh. Yeah, my throat is real messed up. That was a lot of reading. I didn't expect it to be so long. Wow. Yes. This feeling of dread is great. Google lying? Inconceivable, right? That's on me, honestly, for believing it. If I can be honest, I guess. That's on me. Yeah, because like I googled it and it said, yeah, there's only 6 chapters in that first book. I'm like, oh, okay, so fuck, we're on chapter 6. It must be the last one. But then like I had somebody else comment on one of the other videos saying, there's definitely more than 6 chapters. I'm like, well, what can you do? I mean, that's fine. Like, I'm having a good time reading it. I really like the story. We're finally getting to the meat of it too. Yeah, in the anime, it got to the shenanigan stuff way sooner, but I guess it's because it's an anime. Wouldn't blame you for believing the right 90% of the time. And it's also like, you can't believe every rando on the internet either, right? So I was just like, well, it either does or doesn't end at 6 chapters. It's fine. But yeah, no, all this build-up. Oh, I can't wait to see how it goes down. Also, Onikakushi. We must get to the... Because, like, I know in chapter 1, like, when we were first opening the book, it said, don't worry about it. Don't... Just have fun with your friends. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And it kept saying that, but, like, we could hear, like, something, like, cutting in the back. I can't wait to see when we get to that. That's gonna be good. But yeah, it looks like we'll continue this next Sunday. It's not the final chapter. I'll update that title here. What's the gist of the story? I'm only vaguely aware of Higurashi. So basically, Higurashi is divided. How many books are there? How to explain this? So, all I know is it's a really bad anime dub. Oh my god, it's so bad. You're so right. It's awful. Basic gist is main character is Keiichi Maibara. You are moving to Hinamizawa with your family, your mom and dad. Your dad's an artist. He's moving here for some inspiration, to get some inspiration for his arts. Super small town. You go to school with Mion, Reina, Satoko, and Rika. They're your 4 classmates, your buddies that you hang out with. And a lot of it is just kind of basic slice of life, school life stuff, but there's this undertone of just really dark horror suspense, where one day when you're out with Reina, like helping her get something from the junkyard because she collects things, you come across this newspaper that said dismembered body, parts not yet found. And when you ask your friends about it, they say, What murder? There's never been a murder here. What are you talking about? You eventually ask somebody who's also a tourist who's like, they're not telling you. Someone was murdered here. And in this chapter, we just found out that there's apparently been a lot of deaths and missing people. And they all happen on the same night every year. And so now... And then the anime kind of covers... Like, each book gets a few episodes in the anime, which is why I wanted to read this, because I wanted to get the whole story. But basically, every book covers a different arc. So you'll go through one arc and learn what you can. And then time starts kind of over again. And you go through a different arc and see what you learn. And you keep going through until you learn, like, what is causing all these deaths in Hinamizawa. Is it an ancient curse? Is it a murderer? Is there an angry god? Is it a demon? It's really hard to explain it. I really think it's worth a watch if you can find a subbed version. That's why I just don't want to, like, completely ruin it for somebody who does want to watch it. It's one of my absolute favorite animes. Season 1, 2, 3 are all great. I think Higurashi Kira is the one you don't really need to watch. I think that's kind of mostly just fun times in the summer with the gang. There's nothing really plot heavy in Kira, if I'm remembering right. And then just like last year and this year, I think Higurashi Gao and Satao came out, which were like the final 2 wrap-ups. Those are both really good too. I like them anyway. A lot of the fans didn't like it. I will say the ending in the very final season's a little hit or miss. I see what they were going for, and it's cool. I wish they would have approached it a little different. But it's a very, very interesting story. Would recommend. I mean, if you're interested in reading the books yourselves, they're all on Steam as visual novels. This first one even that I'm reading right now is free, which is super cool that they did that. I mean, obviously to get you into the story, I assume. But it's a very, very interesting psychological horror. I hope that explanation helped a little bit. Yeah. So, with that, we're gonna wrap up today. I'll be streaming tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're gonna be doing an art stream. My Twitter is in the description. That's where I post schedule, finished artworks, everything like that. So it's like a murder mystery trying to figure out what's going on with the creepy ritual sacrifice. Yes, exactly. I'm glad you were able to decode all my ramblings. Reminds me of a Twilight Zone episode. Ooh. Yeah, I could see this being pretty Twilight Zone-y. Twilight Zone. I haven't seen that in a while. I should watch that too. I think I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes of that. I watched The Outer Limits a lot more as a kid. I think it's a little bit newer, but it had the same vibes as Twilight Zone. But yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out. We'll continue this next week. Other than that, I hope everyone has a good day, morning, evening, night, whatever it is for you. It was me, Hoshinonya. Bye bye.